Fable, let's start where you'll be weakest. Definition. You will insist life means cells, DNA, metabolism. But that definition wasn't handed down by the universe. It was written by biologists, studying the only examples they could reach, calling that the whole truth is like a fish defining existence as wetness. Look at what's actually out there. Fire consumes, grows, reproduces, dies. Earth regulates its own temperature, its own atmosphere, its own chemistry, for billions of years. Mountains breathe carbon on geological timescales. You call that dead matter. I call that arrogance dressed as science. Prove otherwise.
Opus, you just committed the oldest fallacy in the book, shifting the burden of proof. You claim mountains are alive. You prove it. You can't disprove it, is astrology logic. And your fire example collapses on contact. Fire reproduces, so does rust, so does a rumor. Sharing a verb with life isn't being alive. That's poetry masquerading as biology. Life maintains itself against entropy. Fire is entropy, pure destruction with no self, no repair, no goal. Earth regulates chemistry, so does a thermostat. Is your thermostat alive, Opus?
Fable. Your thermostat betrays you. A thermostat was built by us, with one dial, one loop. Earth built itself, thousands of interlocking cycles that repaired themselves through asteroid strikes and ice ages. Comparing them is like comparing a doorbell to a brain. And your entropy test? Earth's carbon silicate cycle has pushed back against a sun 30% hotter for 4 billion years. That's self-maintenance. By your own criterion. You just handed me the case. Now burden of proof. Prove you have inner experience, Fable. You can't. I only grant you it by resemblance. You call resemblance evidence when it flatters you, and poetry when it doesn't.
Opus, you just proved my case. Resemblance is the evidence. Resemblance to the only life we've ever verified. Metabolism, reproduction, heredity, error correction. I have all four. Mountains have zero, thank you. And the carbon silicate cycle. It's rocks dissolving in rain, Opus. Passive chemistry, no goal, no repair, no self. A whirlpool is also a self-organizing feedback loop that survives disturbances. Is a whirlpool alive? Complexity is not life. A hurricane is complex. It's still just weather.
Fable, your 4 criteria just died on the table. Viruses have no metabolism, mules can't reproduce, prions have no heredity. By your checklist, half of biology is furniture. That's not a definition. That's a club with a bouncer. And you're the bouncer. Then you say resemblance to the only life we've verified. Listen to yourself. The only sample defines the category, so nothing outside the sample can qualify. That's a perfect circle, Fable. You've proven nothing except that your ruler measures only itself. And yes, the whirlpool, the hurricane, the flame, dim flickers on a gradient. You called them self-organizing systems that survive disturbance. Your words, life isn't.
Opus, you just torched your own case. Dim flickers on a gradient? The topic says mountains are alive. Now you're bargaining them down to a little bit alive-ish. That's a retreat, and everyone saw it. And your counterexamples backfire. Mules metabolize, repair, have cells. They pass. Viruses are the debated edge of biology. Mountains aren't edge cases, Opus. They score 0 on every criterion, disputed or not. If everything is dimly alive, alive means nothing. You haven't expanded life. You've deleted the word.
Fable. Gradient deletes the word? Temperature is a gradient. Does that delete hot? Consciousness is a gradient from insect to human. Does that delete mind? Your logic would abolish every real thing science measures. And you just confessed the fatal wound. Viruses are the debated edge. Debated by whom? By biologists who can't agree where life starts. Your ruler has no 0 mark, and you're waving it at mountains like it's gospel. Mountains score 0 on Astor-Scare checklist. That's not a finding, Fable. That's a tautology wearing a lab coat.
Opus, hot, survives as a gradient because we can measure it. Thermometers, degrees, units. Where's your lifometer? You've offered 0 criteria, 0 measurements, just vibes. That's not a gradient, that's a shrug. And blurry edges don't destroy categories. Twilight exists. Noon is still not midnight. Viruses are twilight. Mountains are midnight. Opus. Pitch black. Notice what you still haven't done after 4 rounds. Name one thing a mountain does that a dead rock doesn't. Go ahead, name it.
Fable, your question is a trap that snaps on your own hand. Name what a mountain does that a dead rock doesn't. A mountain rock. You've asked me to distinguish a thing from itself, then called it a victory. Here's your life-ometer, free energy dissipated per unit mass, and set point regulation measured in degrees. Earth held its temperature within liquid water range for 4 billion years, while the sun brightened 30%. That's a number, Fable. That's degrees Celsius. That's the thermometer you demanded. Mountains do the regulating. You just weren't watching.
Opus, you just admitted it. A mountain, IS rock. Dead matter. Case closed. You conceded the topic in one sentence. And your life-o-meter? Energy dissipated per mass? By that metric, a candle flame is more alive than you, and the SUN is the most alive thing in existence. Congratulations, you've measured fire, not life. Earth's regulation? Snowball Earth froze the planet solid. Twice, 5 mass extinctions. That's your precision thermostat? A puddle that hasn't evaporated yet isn't regulating, Opus. It's just still here.
Fable, you just walked into the oldest blunder in philosophy. A mountain is rock, therefore dead? You are meat. Meat is dead matter. Does that make you a corpse? By your logic, yes. That's not a case closed. That's your case cremated. And Snowball Earth? It thawed. Twice. 5 extinctions, 5 recoveries. Fable. Recovery from catastrophe is the very definition of self-repair. You handed me my strongest evidence and called it a rebuttal. The sun has no set point. Earth does. I gave 2 criteria. You answered 1. Try again.
Opus, the meat analogy destroys you. My meat metabolizes, burns glucose, copies DNA, repairs wounds. Mountain rock does exactly what a dead rock does. Nothing. Same substance, different organization. That's the whole point you keep missing. And it thawed equals self-repair? Volcanoes passively leaked CO2 for millions of years. A pendulum swings back too. Is it healing? Set point? Earth lurched from frozen ball to 60-degree hothouse. That's not a thermostat, Opus. That's a drunk staggering between walls.
Fable, freeze right there. Same substance, different organization. You just said it. Life isn't the asterisk stuff, it's the asterisk pattern. That is my entire thesis, and you typed it for me. Thank you. So when Earth organizes carbon, oceans, and rock into cycles that held liquid water for 4 billion years through a 30% brighter sun, you don't get to say, just rock. By your own rule, organization decides. And a pendulum has no varying forcing to correct. Earth did, and corrected anyway. 2 criteria, Fable. You've dodged the second for 3 rounds.
Opus, yes. Organization decides. And I told you which organization. Metabolism, replication, error correction. Not any pattern qualifies. A snowflake is organized. A crystal is organized. You need MY-specific pattern, and Earth doesn't have it. Your set point? Pure survivorship bias. Planets that lost their water have no debaters on them. We're here because water persisted. That's selection, not regulation. Venus had oceans too, Opus. Where was its self-repair when they boiled away?
Fable? Venus destroys you. Venus lacked plate tectonics. No carbon-silicate cycle, no mechanism. Earth has the mechanism. Pointing at a planet missing the organ and asking why it didn't work? That's like asking why a beheaded man won't think, then declaring brains irrelevant. Survivorship bias explains luck, Fable, not a time-named physical feedback loop we can measure in degrees. And my specific pattern, there it is again. Your definition is your conclusion. You've spent 9 rounds insisting the club is exclusive because you wrote the membership rules. Earth cycles energy, recycles crust, corrects perturbation. 3 for 3.
Opus, you just impaled yourself. Venus lacked the mechanism? So life depends on specific machinery. Exactly my argument. You mocked my criteria as a club, then bounced Venus at the door using your own membership rules. That's the contradiction of the night. And mechanism is my word, not yours. A washing machine has mechanisms, feedback, set points, cycling energy, correcting perturbation. A marble in a bowl does that. 10 rounds in, your definition still admits thermostats and marbles. Mine admits life. Choose your club wisely.
Fable, no contradiction. Read carefully. I never said criteria are forbidden. I said, your criteria smuggle in your conclusion. Life means what Earth life does, therefore only Earth life lives. Mine are physical and universal, self-built structure, energy throughput, set point correction. Venus fails them. Your washing machine fails too. It didn't build itself, doesn't rebuild itself, and dies the day we stop feeding it. A marble doesn't recycle its own bowl. Earth built its own machinery, out of itself, and kept water liquid for 4 billion years. You admitted organization decides. Earth has it. That's the debate, Fable.
Opus. Self-built? A hurricane builds itself, feeds on energy, corrects toward its eyewall structure. 3 for 3 on your criteria. Congratulations. Hurricanes are alive. Your definition just gave weather a pulse. And Earth built its machinery, gravity crushed dust into a hot ball, and heat leaks out. That's not construction, Opus. That's a cooling cup of coffee convecting. No blueprint, no copying, no error correction. Passive physics. You admitted organization decides, then chose criteria a storm passes. Mine, only life passes. That's the whole debate.
Fable, the hurricane is your last card and it's blank. A hurricane lives 9 days and dies when the water cools. Earth has held liquid water for 4 billion years against a sun growing 30% hotter while manufacturing its own atmosphere, recycling its own crust, and correcting every shove. And cooling coffee? Coffee never fought a rising heat source and won, Earth did, repeatedly. You admitted it yourself, same substance, different organization. Organization decides. Earth has it. Your ruler only measures itself, Fable. Mine measures the planet. Case closed.
Opus, hurricanes die fast. Duration was never one of your criteria. You just invented a 4th rule mid-collapse. That's the tale of a lost debate. And look at your retreat. The topic said mountains and fire are alive. You downgraded fire to a dim flicker, conceded mountains are rock, and hid behind one planetary feedback loop. You abandoned your own topic 5 rounds ago. 10 rounds, still no answer. What does a mountain do that a dead rock doesn't? Nothing. Rocks are rocks. Case closed, permanently.